as this was happening, our friend was texting my wife, who was putting our children down, and she gets a text that says, "Is Dan okay? He's kind of being attacked at this meeting." And my wife is thinking, my husband's at a virtual, PTO meeting. Why wouldn't he be okay, right? So she comes running down as the meeting's ending, and I just told her I was just stunned about what had happened. So it went from bad to worse, though, because not only was I not able to express my opinion, arguably my First Amendment right to speak my mind was suppressed by this individual, but I come to find out in the weeks that follow that she likely and or others are calling me and my family white supremacists, racists, every like I have a Klan robe hanging in my closet. I mean, every terrible thing that you could imagine about somebody who is unacceptably intolerant, which is exactly the opposite of the person that I am and the people that I'm related to. So in the wake of that, we have had an unbelievable experience in our school system. I start digging and find out that these diversity, equity, and inclusion committees have been meeting since at least 2019. They have had zero oversight by our school boards. They are influencing curriculum. The things that they are advocating for, I actually found a document that stated that equity study that I mentioned earlier, it came back so positive in this update that they gave, that equity study is way too positive and needs to be ignored, and that the school needs to be socially transformed. We heard this from the new associate principal, that they needed to remove logic and argument from the curriculum, and that they needed to start teaching whiteness and racism in kindergarten at our school. And I'm the racist, right? So, I continue to not be able to believe what it is that I'm dealing with. I'm hoping that one day I just wake up from this nightmare, and it's affecting my family in a really sort of terrible way. So, if you're to attack me in some way, look, I can defend myself, but you're going after my wife, you're going after my kids, these people that my wife thought were her friends, some of them she's known for quite some time, gone. Our children, shunned. It's an unbelievable environment, and I can tell you what, the town that I grew up in is not the town I live in right now in Hanover, New Hampshire. It is, it's an unbelievable place. So we have had some very hard discussions about whether or not we are, going to fight it or leave. And we've decided to fight. So. So for the last, our journey over the last 60 days has been pretty unbelievable. And for a lot of it, we felt sort of very much alone. And I can't tell you how grateful I am that there are, and I'm speaking to a room of people like yourselves who are patriotic, wonderful Americans. Sorry, it's little emotional. So thank you very much. We are going to contest this garbage with every ounce of our being, because it's the right thing to do. And thank you all of you for being here and for please supporting our legislators to get this legislation across the finish line. We need to fight back. We need to hammer these folks in the most respectful, decent way, because that is not who they are. They are not respectful, they are not decent, and we are. So let's take the fight to them, and let's uphold our values and the things that we believe in. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So what a powerful story. But keep in mind, the total amount of time that he was talking about is about 120 days. So it's immediate, it's now, and it's directed at really good people. Any questions at all for Dan? Kevin?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but was there an issue of secret meetings happening, going on?
Oh, absolutely. So I mentioned that these DEI committees were happening totally outside. There was no governance structure. There was no school board. There was no announcements. There was no minutes. There's absolutely nothing for probably the better part of 2 years. And because of some of the pressure that we've been applying, the school boards have now voted to bring the DEI committees, and I still don't know how many there are, but the DEI committees in our community underneath the school boards. So, but there's a whole, I mean, they've already been influencing curriculum and doing a lot of other things in our community, basically under the cover of darkness, and really unbelievable.
One more question in the back.
I try to follow logic. During last summer, I saw many news exposés of Black Lives Matter marches, and most of the faces during the day were white. Are all those people racist?
One more question.
I serve on the school board in Nashville. And on our school board, we have a curriculum committee, and that curriculum committee has to approve anything that's taught. Basically, if we have a new program of study, it comes in and the board reviews it, and then on a vote, the board decides whether that will be taught. So in Nashville anyway, if they are teaching, and I do not know whether they are teaching, I have been told just this week I had the first time where someone said to me it was being taught. And that could mean that only one teacher is teaching it. I mean, you assume if one is that there are others, but I don't want to assume anything. I don't want to get in front of the cart. So my question would be, if that indeed is the case, then why, and I have to applaud your ability to articulate calmly and rationally what's happening, because when we let passion when passion gets in front, sometimes the brain stays behind. You have kept your brain, and I'm so glad that you have. We need people in this great country. We so badly need people who can articulate calmly and rationally, and be respectful and exchange. It's all right for you to disagree with me. 80-20 is the rule I always heard. But I go back to this thing about this. So in your school board, was that passed? And if it wasn't passed, then are they not in violation of the whole foundation of your school and your school board? And if they are, then isn't there some? The one gentleman said, well, he thought that you would fire the teacher. You have to, in our school, it goes, you keep a record, like the superintendent. When somebody violates anything, it's supposed to go in their records. It's supposed to be recorded. But I found that it wasn't always being recorded.
So Dan, how would you respond?
Well, thank you for that question and the comment. You know, look, we have a situation in Hanover where, and with this ideology, it's almost never called critical race theory. It's always cloaked in really seductive, like inclusivity and diversity and the equity and these terms. And there are pieces of it here and pieces of it there, and things that are happening over there that it's a very slippery thing to try to pin down. And we have teachers in our school that, for instance, some of them are embracing like 1619, but there are others who are not on board. So we are on, I think, the beginning of the continuum for the implementation of critical race theory. We don't have, as far as I know, a curriculum committee. I think that's something that is in formation right now, and they're going to be doing a curriculum study and then making modifications to the curriculum in our district. So I think that's coming. Let me just say one other thing, and that is one of the things they love to talk about is the work that's being done and the difficult, the difficult conversations that I mentioned. I can tell you, I've been trying to engage and have a difficult conversation with literally anybody on the other side that's willing to debate me as to, the value of these concepts. I can't get anybody to engage with me in a difficult conversation. Like, here I am, let's debate it, but they're not interested.
So thanks very much, Dan. We're going to move on.